Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man, Bad Chad, and Queen Jolene's on the camera. We got Nate and Doug in the house. So what's going on?
Today's your lucky day.
Today's your lucky day. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. We have the Hudson up in the air. Doug has taken off all the shocks, all the brake lines, all the fuel lines, the gas tank. He even took off the master cylinder for the brake system, and the reason being, as I'll show you, Nathan has made the drive shaft, cut the rear end free of its saddles because he's going to change the pitch of the rear end. That's basically what we're going to show you on this video here today. He's going to change the pitch of the rear end, and he's also going to true up the drive shaft at the exact same time. I never done it his way, and we're going to find out today whether I'm going to take it or not, because you take what you like and you throw away what you don't like, basically. If you like something, you take it. If you don't, throw it away. If you want to come over here for a second, you can see Doug took off the brake system, so this manifold would work. We have the ram horn manifolds. There's something that was given to me by a good person, obviously, and now they fit. We're going to have to replace the brake system. We're going to have to change it somewhere, but you know, one out of the two is not bad. We still got our steering in the same spot, so that's good. We don't have to mess with that. But we're going to have to mess with the brake system a little bit to fix that. But now we have mounts and we have exhaust. We've also, the other day, Nate cut out the firewall. Now we have room for the distributor and the intake and the breather and that sort of stuff. Like I said, all the shocks are ripped off because we're going to have to replace that stuff if we're going to drive it. But let's go to the rear end and check that out. Basically, we're getting it stripped down a little bit. Doug's probably going to scrape a little bit, sand a little bit. Nathan's going to do the rear end, get it in place. I'll show you what I've been doing to the Ford off and on today as I've been doing other things. But we'll get down and we'll go for it. Let's go for it. Let's do it.
Let's get down.
So Nathan's going to show us what he's going to do to the rear end. He's going to explain exactly what he did so you know and I know what happened or what's going on. I put lowering blocks in this car a long time ago before we put it across in the other shop there. And the lowering blocks, Nathan has taken it all back out again.
We just got mock-up U-bolts in there for now. We're going to put new U-bolts in it.
I did that too, obviously.
Yeah, they're just in their mock-up for now. So when you brought it up to 4 inches, it rolled the front of the yoke up in the air, so it's up instead of down compared to the transmission. So I cut the saddles off the rear end and cleaned it all back up.
He did not take the rear end right out of the car. He dropped one side and did one side.
Blocked the car, blocked the rear end.
And got that saddle cut off and then put it back.
And then I just put the U-bolts back on loose so we can still move it here right now. And then, so did that to both sides. And then we'll pull the rear end down to where it's about the 3 degrees that with our naked eye. And then we can measure from the backing plate to the frame on both sides to make sure the rear end stayed where it's supposed to be.
So he's actually replacing the rear end in the car and on the saddles. And like he said before, because we put it at them 4-inch lowering blocks and we shoved the rear end up inside the car, it changed the pitch on the rear end itself, where it hits the drive shaft. You do not want that pitch up too high. Let's go to the other side and we can see it for you, okay, baby? I'll take this light here and we can go on the other side, and then you can see what's going on.
I'm probably right in the way here. I'll just move it. Just move it right here.
And this is something, you know, if you're playing with old cars and stuff, this is something that you want to know, obviously, or you want to see someone else do it right there. Right there with the rear end is connected to the drive shaft. Nathan is going to, the pitch has not been changed, or you want it?
Oh, I might have moved it a little bit, but we're going to see it should move.
See, just like that? See how that moves?
Saddles. Now we're just going to have a look at it, see what we got for, move my jig off there. That's all. And the suspension has got all the weight on the car right now. And that's already actually, that actually doesn't look too bad. What do you think, Chad? Is that like 3% right there first time?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I might put it up maybe a little bit.
Go back up just a touch.
Right. That seems fine.
Actually, that ain't bad there. And the weight's already on the car.
No, that looks good.
Yeah, that doesn't look bad.
So basically, he's just being able to change the pitch on that rear end and that drive shaft, because his saddles are free on the rear end. Remember, they're cut off.
Yeah,
they are not welded back on yet. He's just getting things in place before he welds it back on.
So I'll measure from the backing plate to the saddle on either side.
So he's going to go from
from the spring. So we got 6 inches there. Let's see if this one here stayed the same. Look at that. Look at that, she stayed right where it was. So,
awesome.
So we're good there. So what I'm going to do first, I'll just take the impact gun and zip them U-bolts up tight. Then we can tack it. It'll stay where it is.
Okay. And then we're cut to fit. They're just something to...
Yeah, we're just mocking it up in there.
Mocking it up.
So they look like they stayed straight.
So you can see the transmission mount. Oh, got that thing on blank. You can see the transmission mount made here. Fairly simple. Cut through the cross frame to cut a little bit out. Put that transmission right in the hole. Come right back through the original stock position of the drive shaft, and little transmission mount there.
The original top brace stuff is all still there.
Perfect.
And the emergency brake piece is going to bolt right back on with another cross piece right there. So we'll have the emergency brake stuff bolted right back on there. It should give this little crack on the side.
And basically this rear end stuff, you want that snout pointing down just a little bit, because when you put torque on it, it's going to turn up. I know it's hard to believe. You think the torque would turn it down, but it turns up. The rear end.
When you power on it.
When you power on it, it pushes up. So then when it pushes up, it would make that drive shaft almost straight.
That's why people, when they used to use the old slapper bars, torsion bars were here. When you come onto it, the bump stops would be in the front, adjustable.
Right.
The old slapper bars to take the wrap of the springs.
So what's happening is the springs are, losing torsion and
we can
turning
tack them in, and then I'll do that drive shaft thing.
So what he's going to do this minute is he's going to end up getting the welder rocking and rolling, getting geared up. He's going to go above those lowering blocks in the back on the rear end, and he's going to tack the rear end in place. I'll pass that stuff in. Yeah. You got everything in?
I got it all over here, Chad.
I can move, okay. Probably move that light.
We'll just put a tack on them, and then...
So he's going to tack the saddles on the rear end, and then once he tacks the saddles on the rear end, then we're going to go to the transmission, and he's going to true up the drive shaft. This is what I want to see. Because generally, I take me, I'm probably a little cruder maybe, but I just cut it off with a zip cut. I pound the end back in it. I line my universal joints up, and then I weld it back on, throw it in. Nathan's going to go one step further, and he's going to true it up before he welds it up. And I think I'm going to take it if I like it.
And a lot of times, like sometimes you can get a vibration, sometimes you won't. It all depends. If you get a vibration, well then you can take and have it balanced or trued up at the machine shop. But if you get it trued up,
I've never had never.
Neither have I, really, but some people had to have, right?
Well, you know what that basically is from? I think they got the rear end torqued up wrong.
So it could be.
I'll go over there and adjust that machine. Probably need adjustment.
It needs to be turned
Just a second, I got it.
I never checked it.
How you doing, Dad?
Great. Do you guys need anything?
Yeah. Try that.
Can you put it up her head, or you have to stay right all the way up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Try it. Just try it and see where it's at. And if it don't, well.
Put another tack.
Going good now?
Yeah. We'll come back to this after.
Okay.
Just tack both sides here and then come back to that after. Back there.
How you like working on the floor, Nathan?
Better with the creepers. I'm used to the floor. That's good enough. That'll hold that, Chad. That'll hold that for now. Then we'll line the other one up and we'll have to tack that stuff.
So basically the rear end has been measured from the backing plate to the spring shackle, and they're both the same on each side, 6 inch. He's tacked the plates back on to the rear end because he's changed the pitch. Now he's going to, where this is the drive shaft that he made. On the end, he had to shorten this drive shaft, and he had to measure it and make it go in the transmission as far as you need the yoke to go in. He had to cut it free. Basically, you run the zip cut around the weld. He pulled it out and replaced it and put it back in.
So we actually used a Ford drive shaft. It had the same size U-joint and everything. So then he had the Chevy yoke, took the same U-joint as the Ford drive shaft did. And then, like I said, we just cut it in the weld, which would have been right here. We cut the weld
Up
into
front.
the hub. There's a hub in there. Slides in, beat it out, cut it off.
You didn't use a hammer when you hit it, did you?
Tapped it together and beat it out, yeah. So what I want to see first, before we do the...
He has not got it welded back up yet.
No,
so
I
that
didn't
little
weld it
yoke
here
is
yet.
inside that drive shaft.
Yeah.
And it'll still move.
That way I can move it and spin it to true it up. You can see that's out already. That's out right now.
So this is what he's going to do.
I slid this in the transmission, slid it in, bottomed it out. It had 6 inches of input, and I slid it out so I had just over about 2.5 inches hanging out here. And for suspension travel, it usually goes like 1 inch in and out on the slide, which you can't see here. It slides in the transmission for the seal on the slider. So the original drive shaft had the slider in the shaft, but these transmissions slide in there. So
She's coming here, little yoke coming out, is she?
yeah, I got that popped
Okay.
there a little bit. She's twisted up. We're gonna
This is what he's going to do.
take that back a little bit. I can see it's twisted some already. I know I'm hitting the shaft, but I'm hitting right by the yoke. So I'm gonna try this here and see if this here works.
So basically,
So I've got a magnet home that I've put magnets on the side of the frame. Run the magnet with a stick in. I turn it wherever it hits, and I'll just keep truing it up.
this is the same thing though.
Same idea. We're just doing it with vice grips on this one. We'll get it so the vice grips is touching the drive shaft there first off, and just see how close it is. Of course, there it's hitting there. There it's not. So there it's hitting. Now I want to go in there with. I might use
want a
another
pry bar?
hammer, Chad.
You want a pry bar?
No, I want something I can punch with. Hit with the hammer. I want to hit right on the edge of that yoke and spin that in that dry shaft a little bit.
You want that?
A bigger one. How about that?
A bigger one. How about that?
Actually, I might be able to drive that back in there just a little bit more too. Yeah, there we go.
You want a different hammer?
Nope, I'll use this hammer. I'm going to try to slide this back a little bit more first.
Do you want me to hold on to it at all?
Nope. Nope. There we go. There it goes in there. Now that's down, so we want that to go up. Right on that yoke right there. Still got quite a bit there. I gotta hit that right up on that yoke. Up in there. I did one in a dump truck once that was twisted right off like a candy cane. That's gonna go up right there. Get it to go up. I ain't turning very easy now. I'm gonna have to go back in. Should go up right. There it goes. Okay, now we can move these back up a little bit again. Okay, so I've got one spot right there's low. Right there's a low spot. It's coming now. Let's do it one more time. Okay, there's the low spot.
Pretty cool, eh?
There's the low spot, so I'll put my finger directly across from there. I want to tap it in right there.
I'm going to steal it.
Oh, not went too much.
Okay.
There, we'll take that up again until it touches. Now it's touching again. Oh, see, it's flexing. It's going too far. Right there. Big time, big time. Right there. Went too far. Give her too much. She feels a bit too much. It's a little fooling sometimes.
It is what it is.
My lathe home ain't big enough for this one. That's still.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is your yoke coming out too far, or is it?
I'll check again. Get this trued up a little bit and then see. She's still pushing the vice grips right there. You know what? Yeah. That's what happened.
She come out on you?
Yeah. Where'd that punch go, Chad? Here, Chad, can you tap that back for me?
Can.
Give that a little tap on there. I'll take it back there. Just give a little tap on the end of there for me. Tap it. Yeah, keep coming. Yeah. Keep coming. Okay, just a second. I wasn't quite ready on that, I guess. Right there.
Can't hit it.
That right there, yeah.
Can't hit it really.
Hit it. Right there.
Oh, hit your hand. Oh, hit your hand again.
That's okay.
It's easier on my hand.
It's okay. We're still good. Right there. Let me see this first. There we go. Just get it in the right spot here.
Just hard to hit. You want a smaller hammer or you want something longer?
There. Oh, we're close there. Right there. We're close now.
Just a little tiny tap,
A
tap.
little tiny tap, yeah. Actually, I'll just put a tack on one side if I have to. Right there, it's fine.
Yeah, wherever it's close. Like if the yoke's in close, you might want to tack it.
Yeah. Getting close there now.
She almost just run around with the vice grips hard enough and make it good.
Right there, it's slowing that.
She got her?
Right there, just one more little taparoo there. The magnet, you just take the magnet, just pull the thing out to it and spin it.
Right. This is sort of a pain in the ass, but it works.
Yeah, if I can see better. The other light's right in my eyes, I can't see.
Here, let me do it. I'll hold it.
Yeah, if you can hold that up there, something. That one light there, right in my eyes, I can't see at all. I need to see right in here, Chad. Right here. I need to see right with these fingers. Right,
Yeah.
right there would be good.
Man, I'm that guy that holding the flashlight. Don't holler at me, Nathan. He's not gonna holler at me, he says.
When I hit that right there.
She's gonna drive like a Hudson.
Close. A little bit of fooling, but it's coming. We do have a machine shop too that does these.
No, we don't need it.
Oh, we're just. Yeah.
I'm happy with the vice grips. Don't have to go nowhere. It's not giant, huge money, and anybody can do it at their home.
Right.
Anybody. This is what we do here.
I did one. Buddy twisted one off in a dump truck right in town, like a candy
Yeah.
cane. Couldn't get another one done. I did it on the shelf and.
That's how we want to do it.
Now
You got her now.
So now we'll tack it on one side then the other, and
Yeah.
we'll spin it again.
One's holding it,
And
two's in place.
Yeah, one tack on this side, one tack on this side. Then if we have to move it, we can go this way.
Well, that's not true. You can still put two, couldn't you? If you put one on either side,
Well,
you
you got
still
to
can
put one
move
on
it.
either side. That
Right.
way it'll stay there, and then leave the other two. That way you can twist it back and forth.
I'll turn the welder on for you. You want to get ready? Yeah, I do that. I do that. How you making it, Douglas?
Great, man. Great.
You sanding moldings, man, like a maniac.
My girlfriend, she just took a puff on me.
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
Hard to hold, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
That was pretty good. Too many edges and
Awesome.
If I can do it any better, turn around.
What'd I do wrong?
Oh, I'm just gonna turn around.
Oh, okay. I better
There.
stay over there before you need me.
Back through here.
Also, where he's welding that drive shaft on, he's got a nice little gap there from the drive shaft tube and the yoke, so he can really zap it on. So you wouldn't want that right exactly pinched up tight. You'd want a nice V that off in there a little bit, and so you can stick some weld in it. This is a mock-up
tacks on it.
transmission, so nothing is going to get hurt.
Where'd your little light go, Chad?
What's that, old buddy?
Where'd that little light go you had there? There it is there.
You want me to?
Oh, I got it here. Just want to see.
What you call that? A lifesaver?
Let me do that. Okay, stayed pretty good. Stayed good there.
Yeah.
So I'll put 2 more tacks on that. 2 more tacks on it, and we'll try it again.
And then it's a,
Then we can pull it out and weld it,
yeah.
or whatnot. Well, I might put 2 more better tacks on it, but. Tacks on it here. Try it. Get tight with it. Okay, now.
So now I'm thinking the drive shaft is, the drive shaft is in place, I would say. He's got 4 tacks on it. It's not going anywhere.
Well, we're gonna do another. We'll test it one more time.
He's got the pads on the rear end tacked in place, and the drive shaft pretty well in place.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, didn't I? One of them days.
And then basically it's just time for,
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, now that's pretty good for just.
there. So we got an angle on the rear end, and we've got a drive shaft that's tacked in place and ready to be welded up.
And
It'll
we
have
got
to be pulled out.
And we got 2 inches in and out left on that shaft for suspension travel, but we're already with the weight on the car, other than gas, right in it. So that should be pretty good there. Should be pretty good there.
Awesome. There you go, just like that. If anybody's building a car like this, pulling an engine out, and they're replacing the engine with something different, where they have to build the mounts and the transmission mount, the drive shaft right to the rear end, you're going to have to know what's going on there to go for it, Basically that rear end, you want it down just a little tiny bit, so when you put the power to it, it turns up and goes straight again, basically. If you have it turned up too high sometimes, I find that's when you'll get that shake and wobble go on, because it'll be like this. If you have it even, it'll turn up too high, and then it'll bounce and go on and get out of shape.
Yep.
But that right there, I'm thinking that it's A1, would have no issue with that. No issue with that. It's what day is it? Day 3 you're working on this?
What's
Day
that?
2, day 3 working on this, I think. It's going really well to have that in place like that.
3 days, I think. Yeah.
The exhaust prepared, the steering prepared, the firewall, that sort of stuff. Let's go in here for a minute. I've got the bumper back on the Ford. Just checking out and see if this works, and it works out just fine. Fits up there nice. Still got the hands above that piece there, if that's going good. But as you come in here and take a look, every little pinhole or anything I see, I am mixing up filler and putting it on the car. So right now it was primed. It looked really, really, really nice. Now I'm going along and trying to get all the little tiny pinholes or scratches that I see, or stuff that I think that needs filler. Let's do a little bit and I'll show you exactly what I mean.
Is it okay if I have that welder back on or no?
Sure is, man.
Okay, thank you.
I just didn't know if you want to take it out and weld it up. Let's put this back on. I'm using these little glasses here, which Doug uses all the time. So I'm trying to take them over for the day, just so I can see what I'm doing. And this is what's going on.
You find all those little pinholes out there, doesn't it?
It does. I'm just mixing little tiny batches up like this, a little bit like that, just a little tiny bit. A bit of hardener. I have not sanded the car yet. And the reason, I guess the reason that I like doing it this way is I'm trying to save myself time. Trying to save myself time in the massive time it takes to do something like this. Basically, I always say it's 40, 80, and then I prime the car. So we just got filler on it, and in some cases there's a little bit of fiberglass showing in places where I primed it. So now that we primed it, I can see every little pinhole in it, basically is what I'm trying to tell you. And what I'm doing now is I'm going over the primer. Come down here, sweetheart. Oh, sure, that's what it is. You certainly can. Turn your light on, she said. If I can find the off and on switch. There it is. Now, you come down here. You can see in the filler, or maybe it might have been a little fiberglass there or something, you can see all them little tiny pinholes. I want those. You can see little tiny bits of them. I have not sanded the car yet. I've just put the feather fill on it, and that's all I've done. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because all the filler work that I've done to the car, you remember, had down the side, fender skirts, down the side of the door, down the side of the fender, top of the hood, top around the window, down around the trunk lid, all that sort of stuff. It needed to be filled. It needed to be filled. So instead of me taking the polyester 2-part putty, which is probably $100 a can, it's like a quart can of it, instead of me covering all my body work with the 2-part and blocking it out and doing it over again, I don't like doing that. And this is the reason why I'm doing this right now. I like to 40-80 prime it, see exactly where my pinholes are. I'm not interested in filling from here to there to get that, if you know what I'm trying to say. I feel like my filler's on straight. I'm happy with that part. But now I have pinholes that I have to deal with. And I have mixed filler up, which is, I'm not sure how much a can it is, to be honest with you. But I am putting it on as thin as possible. You could even fill it up with primer if you wanted to. I think Doug said something about that the other day. You could take primer and a little tiny Q-tip or something, you could fill that. Stop it. That's not what I want. But I'm just trying to fill little tiny pinholes. I will sand this filler. I'm going to lose it here in a second. I'm just trying to fill pinholes here. I will sand this with probably an 80 grit just on the pinholes. And the reason I'm going to just sand on the pinholes or on the body filler with the 80 grit, because it barely will touch the primer when I go to sand this off. Like the 80 grit will barely hit that. And that's what I want. A pinhole there. It's going on as thin as I can get it. I don't want it on very thick. I want it on very thin. That's why I'm making small batches. I don't want it to go hard on me because it's hard to find them. Just want enough to get in the hole. That's all I want. And I do not guide coat it before I do this, because if I guide coat it the quarter panel, I would not find the pinholes. Basically, you see a little bit right here, look. See right there?
Don't catch your beard on fire.
I'm not interested, like I say, I'm not interested in filling the whole thing for that. So I like to, like I say, put the primer on it, or put the primer on it, and then hit them after when I can see them. And then I can just sand what I need to sand. I'm that kind of guy. I only want to do what I have to do, I guess, to get the job done. Not interested in making a lifetime excursion out of it. And like I said about Nathan's job out there, you take what you like and you throw away what you don't like, and that's how it goes. So if you like what Nathan did there to get everything in shape, take it. I'm going to take the dry shaft thing next time I do that. I'm not going to weld it up and just throw it in. I've never had a problem or an issue, but I am going to take that and use it.
Years ago when I was a teenager there, I did one when I was real young. The first one I ever did, I remember I welded it all up, beat it in, welded it up, lined it up, put it in, I was underneath it, and I was spinning the back wheels. You could see, woo, the dry shaft was going like this. And then, yeah, years ago. I put that 351 Windsor in that Ford Ranger, that 88 Ranger that time, when I was 18. 351 Windsor with a 5-speed.
That's where it all starts, is it not?
That's where it all starts, yeah.
Huh? You didn't make any mistakes on the way, did you?
Oh, lots of them. Learned from every one of them.
That's how it goes.
Still learning. Still learning. We had a line on it, so I went from center to center before we even cut the old shaft apart. We went from center to center and run a straight edge on the joint to line the shaft joints up, and we went at her. I'll go about quarter way around and then come back to it. See if we can get a good spot here. We're going to start. We won't start here.
I'll get that.
That's going to go the same as it did. I can get it.
Or you get it then.
That breaker might.
It's funny how you start whacking the heat to something with that welder. It really does knock out the. Looks good, man. Well, that looks good.
Yep.
See, that's got a nice spot there to weld in. You got a nice V in there for the weld to lay in. That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again.
Do we know where the little roll of 80 grit is at? Not the we'll trade, how's that? We'll trade. Yeah. And we'll do the.
That's not this thing.
Right, welding paint.
Yeah, get it cranked up pretty good for heating up in there. But I can't really even spin it and do a full good round because she's gonna
Gracias.
put another one. I'd like to do it all in one, but we can't.
You want to grab that for him, Doug, please?
I can use it. I'll give it a
You call down that welfare,
When the light comes back on, I'll show you. I'm just going to grab this right now. You can see how
What I'll do is
when I'm sanding
I'll change that other
filler,
plug-in.
it barely touches the primer. If you go gently,
Yeah, that's.
you'll barely touch that
more
primer
touch.
whatsoever. And then when it comes time to guide coat it, I won't have.
I've welded them on a jig before where I could spin it. Spin the shaft right while I was welding, and it worked out some. Here, Doug.
Any issue?
Switch out which quarter you want. Is there one still from the other wall? Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah, basically
And
down
can
to
you
the
take
primer.
the blue one over to there?
You can tell that I'm basically
Right here,
knocked
bud.
the top of the primer off, took a little bit of the
Try that
texture out of it. But that's all I want to do. I just want to take off the body fill. Then I will
I did
guide
some
coat
right
it
in the vehicle before.
over top of this. I guide coat over that because I've not used my primer up whatsoever there. I'm just taking off the filler that was there, how thin it is. 80 grit.
That kind of starting over. Isn't it?
And the reason I like doing it this way because I'm not digging through any products to get where I'm going. You can see I barely hit the primer yet. Just started to scratch the primer there now. So I'm just taking the filler off. That filler, or that feather fill has quite a hard shell to it. And hopefully I take the body fill off before I affect the primer. You come down here and look, you can see the scratches with that body fill in the primer. The scratches are in the primer. You can see right here, scratches are in the primer. The primer will take that, but look how the filler has filled them scratches.
On my glasses, I guess.
It's so thin that you can see right through the filler. You can see where it filled the scratches. Filler in that scratch. And I got the DA here. I will do a lot of this for the DA. I just wanted to try it with the block and see what was going on. It's going good. I just don't want to affect the primer sanding the body fill. I still want all that primer on there. I'm just trying to get them little pinholes, right? So I'm hoping that I don't want to break through the primer, not even close. I don't want to use the primer up at all. I just want to sand that filler off to get them pinholes or scratches that I think are too heavy for the next stage. See I filled some scratches there? I barely used the primer up because you can see there, I'm not barely using the primer up. You still see that it's shiny. Sanding the filler off. Let's try it with the DA. I'm going to try it with DA and show you. Got that all welded up, Nathan?
Yeah, we'll let her cool. I'm gonna cool down.
I want to see how hot it is.
Yeah, put your hand right on it. Get yourself a.
What? That looks good, eh?
Not bad.
Looks awesome.
Bad.
Not
It'd be
going
nice
anywhere.
if I could have rolled it a lot more, but
No, awesome. Not going anywhere. So, basically made the drive shaft. Well, he did make the drive shaft. And set the pitch of the rear end. We're cooking with
pump
gas.
everything full of grease and it goes back together.
I'm going to use the DA. I'm going to knock off some of this filler. And I'm going to use the DA just like I use the block. Hold it flat. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm just going to take off the filler. That's all I want to do. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do with the DA. I probably am,
You want me to gear that?
I'm going to-
for you, Doug. You can try it.
like I've got,
Want me to gear that up?
how many days we got before we take off to Australia?
I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you, buddy. No
10,
problem.
11 days?
I've
Something like
actually
that.
got-
Not many days.
I've got a
So
bolt here
basically,
cut
if I
off.
want to paint this car before we take off, I have to get my poop in a group. and get it rocking and rolling. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll probably end up DAing most of it. And what I mean by DA is the dual action sander. And what I'll do is I'll hold it flat, I'll crisscross it, I'll guide coat it, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do it. I am going to do this little spot right here, and there's a couple of spots right here. I'm going to finish up.
We'll grease all these
and
joints up and stuff.
we'll go from there.
Put
Let's
it
see
so
you.
cool.
I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Put it on the car and start it. Just hold it flat. Now you can see where I've barely sanded anything whatsoever, but I've knocked that filler off, took out some scratches and some pinholes. So I'll just continue on, just go slow. I still have enough primer there. I'm coming back with the guide coat to block. Actually, I'm going to probably DA it.
Look at that. That's one of them studs that you can line it stud one time. Look at what I'm sure he'd let you borrow it, Doug.
And that's how I'll do it. And that's how I'll get it done
I want to see this
really
in action,
quick.
actually.
For, you know, if I can knock this car out
This is a good drill.
in a day, sanding it off, I think that would be a good day. Just leaving as much primer on there as possible, but knocking off the filler or the guide coat. Some people say you have to use a block, and I'm not.
I'll go back
Basically,
and get that thing.
some people say you're going to have to use a block on this sort of thing to get your
try
car
this.
nice and straight. I feel like I feel like I'm good enough with the DA that I could do the whole car with the DA and get a good job.
Oh man, you can go at it like that. That's just.
Reason being is I'm holding it flat.
That'll work. I'll go under there and get that rack. I'll stay in your way.
Crisscross, just like I would a block. No different. Full time, moving it full time.
Just flat. Are you looking, Dad?
Jolene's picking out the color and the interior color.
I figured that might work for
I'm
you.
thinking that she's getting close. I'm thinking I'm not sure.
It would be deadly.
But everything's feeling good. Not trying to break through the primer. I'm using the 80 grit on the filler, trying to take the filler off the small scratches. I keep repeating that, but that's what I'm doing. You can come over here and see. See that? That's pinholes in the filler that I filled with the
that
filler.
time I
You
was
see here?
welding underneath that
And I
truck and
barely
that spark
even
through my
touched the
shirt,
primer whatsoever.
into my armpit, right
So
across
I'm really
the
happy
burnt
with
right
it because I
across
want
my
all the primer on there because I'm still going to guide coat it and go with a 220.
Scared my nipple for life. flat stuff. It does. Gloves would be good, Doug. Oh,
Come here. Gotta get down. Gotta get down. Hold it flat all the time. Don't let it stay still in one spot. Keep it moving. Crisscrossing it back and forth. Trying to feather it all out to keep the panel the same at the whole time.
Have you seen a little bit wider, flat stuff just before? Any idea?
Still good paper. I'm gonna use it. Still gonna use it. We got a little bit there to do, so.
Lots of square feet. Bring them a floor here with that round pipe.
I would say the body fill is a softer, easier sand
No flat
texture
strap?
than the primer is because
I might be able to
the
use
body
this.
fill off quicker
I
than
would
the
like to
primer.
keep Yeah, I'm just gonna. I got one more piece.
Keep it right there, body fill. I'll just take it off.
You know what I mean? You're talking the same way.
I made that transition already. Even if I get string, that was good. That's the whole thing? That's okay. It's okay, Doug.
I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen and what would happen if I did this pinholing work before I primed it. This is what would happen. If I did the pinholing before I primed it, what I mean by pinholing is doing this light little coat trying to get the pinholes. If I put that on there before I primed it, I'd be sanding this and then I'd be sanding the fill that's right beside it, and then you end up getting the mess again. Basically what I'm saying is the product that I have on there, I'm really happy with how straight it is. It's the pinholes I'm trying to get rid of. And when you go to do the body work on top of them pinholes, you end up sanding the product that's next to it. With it being primed, I'm hoping that it's not affecting the straightness of the product because I buried it in the primer. That's what I'm thinking. So as I sanded off the filler on top of the primer, I have not affected the straightness of what I've already accomplished, which is the doors, the fenders, around the headlights, around the quarter panels. I've already accomplished that. I do not want to affect it. So this is the way I'd rather pinhole. I probably should go to the polyester putty for this small stuff because it's just better for the pinholes. But the money that it causes is not where I want to go, and I do not want to get using it on a car when I don't have to, when I can use filler. I don't want to do that. I've seen where it gets used for body fill. I don't want to do that, so I stay this way.
I've seen that piece.
And I like doing the pinholes after you prime because I'm not messing with my straightness from before. Once you get up in that 220 range and get in that 400 range, you're not straightening anything, you are polishing it. As I'm sanding it off with an 80 grit,
Oh, them
I'm really
clippy
not affecting that primer that much. So I'm happy with that.
Nice.
So that's the way I do it. You can take it if you like it, and if you don't like it, throw it away, that's for sure. Things are going good over here. I want to thank everybody for coming back. I really appreciate it. Keep buying the Hiltz gear because it's going well. Get out in that garage and work on something.
Get your projects done. They're looking at you.
Get her done.
Projects are waiting for you.
You can hear the noise in the background. If you're working on something, you're not bothering anybody. You're doing you. You're making yourself happy, and that's what we want. Make yourself happy. Go to the garage and work on it. Have a good day. Come back tomorrow, and we will be here.